and welcome to the Seahawkers podcast, live post-game reaction show as our Seattle Seahawks doubled up the Arizona Cardinals 44-22, and we had to sit through an entire second half of football to eventually get toward where we all knew the game was going. Clinton Bonner joining me for the post-game show in his tank top. We're going to the gun show, baby. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Adams tagged me in. He said, and we talked about it earlier. And I was like, all right, I guess I got to change my shirt. And he's like, don't you dare change your shirt. And I was like, you know what? If we win this game, I'll do it in my tank. And I'm a man of my word. So here we are. Brandon, I've got big breaking news. You ready for big breaking news?
Let's hear it.
This game, turns out it wasn't a trap game after all. Turns out it wasn't a trap.
I mean, it could still be a trap game, and they just outperformed like the potential for a trap game, right? That could still be the case, couldn't it?
No, not at 44-22, whatever this was, with 38 points or whatever it was at halftime. Game was over in the first quarter, right? And the continuation of winning games in the first quarter keeps happening with this Mike Macdonald led team. We got a ton to talk about. And hey, man, we're 7-2. We are an exciting football team. Other stuff broke different ways in the NFC. So it's us and the Rams just head to head next week. This is going to be fun, man.
It's going to be fun. I'm sure there's going to be some things that we get to that maybe weren't so fun in this game because as much as we wanted it to be like a dominant shutout, 58-0 type win over the Cardinals, which, you know, we've done before in the past, but it didn't quite get there. And so there were some reasons why we didn't get there. But we've got Ryan Eddy coming in with a membership of 9 months saying, hit that sub, like, and hype. A big thanks to Ryan. A big thanks to everyone hitting that hype button, hitting the subscribe and the like, and joining us live for this post-game episode, as well as Godzilla Hawk with the $15 super chat coming in for the dub. Go Hawks. A big thanks to Godzilla Hawk.
Yes, I think we're going to get to hang out with Godzilla Hawk, I'm pretty sure, in a few short weeks now, maybe a couple of weeks, depending on our conversation in Discord down in Tennessee. So thank you, man. It's going to be a pleasure to hang out with you and meet you in real life. But I just love hanging out in our Discord on Sundays. It is so much fun all day long, Brandon, especially when we route a stupid division rival, put that in heavy air quotes, Cardinals team. Also turns out Jacoby Brissett, fine, but the statue that we thought he was.
He was fine, but he was not good enough for Tyrice Knight and DeMarcus Lawrence. Chris Smokehawk Nelson coming in saying, let's go D-Law. DeMarcus Lawrence putting up 2 touchdowns in the first half thanks to Tyrice Knight fumbles, and they looked almost like the exact same play as our Seahawks got some defensive scores. And it was the moment of that second defensive score where it was feeling like this route was truly on.
Yeah, completely on. We love that from Smoke. And yeah, man, just identical, right? So, I mean, if you don't see that first of all, you don't see 2 scoops for a score very often, unless it's Raisin Bran. And you also don't often see it stemming or, being caused by the same linebacker. So, hey, this whole year, I think something to give kudos to for Knight is, and the whole Macdonald team, is that when players are swapped in and he loses his role to Drake Thomas. All right, then Ernest Jones needs a week off, and Knight finishes the game strong last week, picks it up. He was like the Malcolm Smith of this game. DeMarcus Lawrence got the tutties, but the MVP of the game, besides JSN and Sam Early, and our running backs, we'll talk about that too. But we won this game going away because of Tyrice Knight. So just kudos to what Macdonald has built. It's a deep team, and this is an exciting team, and we are going to be having a fun week. All week's going to be great.
Aaron F. also coming in with a 6 months worth of membership. You can be a member out on YouTube. You can get some emojis that are exclusive to YouTube. You get some early access type of privileges as well. So big thanks to Aaron F. And thanks to Carly Perkins with the $4.99 super chat. I'm choosing to focus on the great and ignore all the turnovers. The defense did great, and we ran the ball. Cannot wait to beat the Rams next week. Yeah, we ran the football after turning it over a couple times, and then whether it was Mike Macdonald, whether it was Clint Kubiak, he just stubbornly said, for this entire drive, we are not passing the football. 11, 12 straight runs, whatever it takes. If it ends with a field goal, who cares? They were up far enough ahead of the Cardinals to where that sort of play calling maybe didn't matter too much, but it was kind of fun to see after After a couple turnovers by the offense, for them just to flip the switch, got to see a couple nice Zach Charbonnet runs, and an interesting second half of football for sure.
Yeah, thank you, Carly. And hey, look, why have burger when you could have steak, right? And when you're up that many points, steak is running the football well. This second half would be a whole lot crappier if we had the turnovers and then we couldn't run the ball. And whether they got back into it or not, they didn't, but we just chewed clock by running the football. And we keep saying that's who we want to be. But look, Shaheed ran the football well. K9 ran the football well. Halani ran the football well before getting, I think, concussed at the very end there. Took a shot to the head. Charbonnet was magnificent. And Barner does his thing with the football, right? So are we going to start on offense? Do you want to start there? Where do you feel like we should go? We were talking about the run game. It was a big deal. I just want to, this game would have been really annoying if we didn't run the ball well in the second half, but we did.
You're right. It would have been much more annoying. And I think the reason why it worked so well, the drive where they just went heavy on the run button was the one where, gosh, you'd had multiple turnovers. And I really was willing to accept just a plain 3 and out at that point. Just stop giving it back to the Arizona Cardinals with short fields because, they scored 22 points on the day, but those first 2 touchdowns that they scored were from... One was from the 3-yard line, and one was from the 19. So we turned it over inside the red zone twice, essentially giving it back to them and going, "Oh yeah, okay, we stopped you with our defense on 4 downs, but now here's our offense, just giving it back to you to try again, essentially from where you just stopped trying last time." And that's one of the reasons why I feel like I want to start with the defense is because. They were so exceptional. And you look at time of possession in this game, and I thought, man, the Cardinals, it felt like they sure had the ball for a long time, but it was only time of possession 26-20. So we ended up winning time of possession, probably in thanks to that big, long drive toward the end, but 33 minutes for the Seahawks, 26 minutes for the Cardinals. And we've got, while we're counting numbers, we've got Chris Nelson in for 5 months and saying, are you guys going to be at ATL or Charlotte? Neither. We're going to be in Nashville.
Yeah, we're going to be in Nashville. I'm going to be down in Sarasota, Florida during the Atlanta game to hang out with some boys and just doing an NFL weekend. So I'll be there in spirit. I'll be in the Southeast, but just not in Atlanta. But yeah, we'll be in Nashville. So anybody who is going to Nashville, if you're in our Discord, we have a channel set up for that. Just search Titans, whatever, and you'll see it. And we're making plans with all the flockers so that we can hang out at least Saturday and then, of course, into Sunday. And Sunday Night Football that week, too, Brandon, is going to be another Rams game. So we're going to have some fun that entire trip.
Looking forward to it. Always look forward to Sam Gelber coming in. He's going to claim the live executive producer because he just comes in consistently, and he's coming in with the $12 donation saying this game was a weird, dominant win, but we'll take it. Worried about Darnold being careless with the ball with the lead. Does he have a turnover when we're not up 2.5 scores? I think he does, but it is concerning. Think about the way the turnovers happened, right? One was a fumble with the new center after Sundell went out. Hopefully he ends up being okay, but you have Oluwatimi back in, and they fumble that exchange. Barner has the ball at one point and loses it during the process of trying to come up with the football, just in the scrum of feet and legs and everything.
Yep.
And then the another one was him throwing it off of, I think Barner got pushed way back, or maybe it was Abe.
No, it was Barner. It was Barner's helmet.
It was Barner's helmet, yeah.
But he's throwing from the half-yard line. He's throwing from his end zone. So it's
held on to it way too long. So while it did ricochet off a helmet, it was also being held on too long.
Well, maybe the lesson there is let's not throw the ball from the half-yard line anymore, because we were having some problems with that. Remember even a couple of weeks ago, we had the tip play that went to Kupp. That was I think it was the Texans game that was tipped right at the goal line, and it ended up in Kupp's hands, and he scampers for 20 yards. So maybe let's just, dial up some shard plays down there or something like that and just get out of the actual half-yard line before we throw the ball. With all that, though, Richard Sherman was on his podcast, his podcast a couple of weeks ago after the Texans game. He's like, if you're going to have a game like that and you have 4 turnovers, do it in a game where you blow a team out. So if we keep getting these odd, quirky turnovers and we're blowing teams out, fine. You know, it's okay. Let's just next week versus the Rams.
Yeah.
Let's have a clean sheet and like just. I know it's easier said than done, but
wait,
I don't know. Get it out of the way.
Why would you want a clean sheet if we are dominating and having these weird, quirky turnovers? I want the exact same thing.
Okay, fine. Let's have the weirdness, the quirkiness, and still win by 20, and and beat those stupid Rams. But you did say that you wanted to start with the defense. So can we flip it back to some of the defensive play? Because I got some things to say about this D that I really want to share.
Well, defensively for the Seahawks, Tyrice Knight was leading the way in tackles with 6 tackles. Jacoby Brissett, only 22 of 44, so his completion and attempts matches the score.
Yeah.
He has 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, but he did have those 2 sack fumbles. And on the day, we're looking at sacks. Gosh, it felt like they were getting a lot more pressure. So when you go down the list and you see Boye Mafe with 1, you see DeMarcus Lawrence with a half a sack, along with Emmanwori, and Leo Williams with 1. I thought that, especially after, and Tyrice Knight has his 2, right? So I thought, though, after the way that they played Kyler and the Cardinals the first time, that it might even be a little bit more. And we talked a little bit about that on Saturday ahead of the game, too, that pick a defensive lineman, and it's maybe likely that that guy has a sack.
Yeah, Brissett did actually okay to not take literally 4 other sacks. You know, the dude, like Derek Hall, at sometime in this year, the year 2025, he's going to get like 9 sacks in a game. It's going to happen because between penalties that took him away early in the year, or like he's dragging down Brissett and he happens to have a check down to DeMarcado that's like sitting there so he can throw it at his feet without it being grounding. You know, I feel like Hall just keeps getting bit by the bad luck sack bug, but he's just in there every friggin' time disrupting it. Good to see Mafe finally get 1. So what do we have? 5 on total sacks? 5, is that correct?
That sounds right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not great at math, especially when it comes to
scrolling math,
adding half sacks and that sort of thing.
Oh yeah.
Where are the sacks on? Isn't that under team stats? Don't they count
you'd think
that?
it's a team stat.
There it is, 5 for 52.
Okay,
and Sam Darnold sacked only 1 time for 4 yards.
So again, that's such a good imbalance there. And I think I believe all 5 sacks. I think were also in the first half. I don't think we got a sack in the second half where. Look, we come out and we'll rotate back to the great defense that we saw, but we come out in the second half and you're like, oh, it's Nehemiah Pritchett and O'Connell time. And that's okay. But like, so when people are getting a little bit antsy or bummed about the second half, it's like, okay. And with that, we played a mix mash of some backups, not like late in the third quarter to start the third quarter. So, I'm not at all upset about that. And again, Brissett escaped 3 or 4 times by, chinny chin chin type stuff where it's like, oh, dude, you were really about to get pummeled again. Defensively, I'd love to rotate over if you don't mind. I thought our defensive backs in general were absolutely sterling. The coverage across the board. Now I realize Marvin Harrison's fine, maybe pretty good. Mm-hmm. The rest of McBride's McBride, and he is good and he's tough. Besides that, I know it's kind of a pedestrian wide receiver core, but still the coverage was phenomenal. You name a DB today, and we could probably pluck 2 or 3 plays that were PBUs and things of that nature. Across the board, they played phenomenal. Anybody in particular stand out to you from the DBs?
Yokai Hawk calling out Reek Woolen, saying love Reek's wingspan and discipline today. He had multiple pass breakups. Emmanwori stood out. Yes. Gosh, even Pritchett when he came in, and he did have the touchdown scored against him late, but he also broke up that touchdown incredibly, and they highlighted it on the broadcast even, where they showed how Marvin Harrison had the football in his hands and Pritchett just pushing it out at the last moment as he was going down. And yeah, when you talk about the defensive backs, okay, Trey McBride he's essentially the Arizona Cardinals offense, and he finished the day with 127 yards on 9 receptions and a touchdown. But you look at that yards per pass number and you compare that with the Seahawks, and they go 10 for 12, 13.4 yards per pass, and the Cardinals throw it 45 times and have 4.1 yards per pass.
Yeah. So pretty dang dominant there. And you were calling out a couple of DBs earlier there too. I do want to just pit stop on Emmanwori real quick. I mean, man, how many times is he just locked up on guys on their hips, and Brissett's trying it. It's like, dude, stop. It's going to bounce off someone's shoulder pad pretty soon. Stop trying that. We mentioned Woolen. Okada played really well again. And, Spoon, it's like Spoon was kind of a little quietish, but then when the ball did go his way, he was pretty locked down
there.
too. And then the other flip side of the DBs, not even flip side, the other wrinkle with this DBs and the Mike Macdonald offense is he gets them on free rushes against quarterbacks every single game. And then this time we saw Emmanwori with the sack. He had a couple like close ones last week. We saw Spoon with another real close up the middle one where actually Brissett made a really nice throw, like along the sidelines, probably his best throw of the day, to beat that blitz. We still don't blitz a lot, but we get absolute free will rushers when we bring our DBs. The scheme, it is phenomenal to watch. Basically the efficiency when we do bring them, Brandon, it's off the charts great, and that's just scheme.
Yeah, because they use it so sparingly, and they find ways to get people open on rushes where they end up only rushing for. And there was at least once on the broadcast where I think that they felt as though it was a blitz on Brissett, and there were only 4 guys rushing. But even the confusion and overloading one side of the offense was confusing enough to the broadcasters.
Yep.
Now the color guy on broadcast, I mean, he was fine, but I love Kevin Harlan as a broadcaster.
Yeah.
But I also love Godzilla Hawk coming in with 5 gifted memberships out on YouTube. So, you know what? I'm going to give him an executive producer membership today, too, because he came in with a donation. He's gifting memberships. We're having 2 executive producers. How about that?
Why not? Hey, when you score 44 points, that's a double right there, right? So why don't we double the executive producers that were live? And that's really cool. And of course, folks know, I think most folks know by now, on YouTube, you have to have it turned on in your settings that you could accept memberships. And then the way it's generated is the YouTube overlords will figure out how often are you commenting, liking, watching videos, and they'll just dole it out based on basically your participation. So the more you comment, the more you participate, the more likely you are to get a freebie. If you get one, think about paying it forward and gifting or sending in a super chat or whatever you want to do, because it helps the Hawk for sure.
I don't know if that's true, but it feels true.
It feels really true. It feels as true as being 7-2, which feels real true.
Yes, Tyrice Knight had a great game today, and as I mentioned, he led the team in tackles, led the team in sacks with those 2, helping to cause those 2 forced fumbles that turned into scores. And we have talked about the defense now, maybe sufficiently, maybe not. Maybe we need to get back to it. But offensively, Sam Darnold on the day only had to throw the ball 12 times, and he completed 10 passes. JSN nearly eclipses 100 yards despite
so funny.
Only having 5 receptions, 93 yards. He had the 43-yard touchdown early on. Beautiful play-action play where he boxes out the defender and is able to haul in the touchdown pass.
Yeah, on that one, it's a moonshot off camera because we're watching it from the little side scroll, the old school way to watch it. And I'm like, he's not even open. It's like he's not. And then he just for a 6-foot dude, JSN, he does all the nuances at such a high level that he separates at that level. I mean, Tyler Lockett was really good at that. Like at his best, he was really good at the late stage things and just, late hands and just using his body, whether that was to, get a PI or just break away late from a safety or something. And then there's JSN, who seems to be doing it at an entirely different level, an even higher level. And that moonshot was a good example of that, where he wasn't particularly open, but he's in the right position. It's certainly a really good ball by Sam, no doubt about that. He's staying on pace at this point. JSN is that he's still got this takes him a little bit, I think, off the pace for the 2K, because I think you got to maintain like a 117 or something like that. But to only get 5 receptions in a game where you're basically shut down for the second half. He had 82 with the first drive, or the first 2 drives, I think. He was like 4 for 82 to start the game. So, what's going to happen next week when we're playing a Rams team where the Rams will likely put up points and will likely put up points, and it's likely going to be a game that both teams really have to fight to the finish. Next week could be an absolute barn burner for JSN because of all the things the Rams do well. I don't think their DB room is the place that I would go to be like, that's the outstanding part of their game.
Yeah, there's going to be some things that have to get cleaned up for the Rams next week, but I keep going back to the defense. If they can continue to play at this dominant type level and able to, Yokai Hawk mentioning Nwosu's tackle for a loss that caused a punt in the first half. If we started going down the list of all the guys who had some big play in this game, especially like on 3rd and shorts and 4th downs to get the team off the field. Like how many 4th downs did they end up stopping by the Arizona Cardinals? I could probably look it up since I have it right here. 2 of 5 on 4th down conversions were the Arizona Cardinals. So because of the score, they ended up having to go for it 5 times on 4th down, and they were able to convert on those just 2 times.
So there was, I forget which turnover it was from Seattle, whatever. It was one of the turnovers where we give them the ball back basically at like the 3-yard line. But that goal line stand before we gave the ball right back, oh my word. Like this, I put in our Discord at some point, I said, hey, this defense reminds me of a certain other defense. And I don't want to say the words because I'm pretty superstitious, Brandon, but they fly around the football. They fly to the ball. They're tackling exceptionally well. None of the gimmick nonsense, wide receiver screens, the horizontal raid type stuff, none of that's working. Yes, there were a couple of explosives in this game on some broken plays. And with that, they didn't matter. The game was so out of hand at that point anyway. If you're looking back at the best of the LOB era Seahawks, and you're looking at this defense, they're constructed quite differently. They really are different, like makeup of a team. But rallying to the ball and hitting hard it seems to be a through line for great defenses, period. And do you see any other things about this team that maybe remind you of 2013, or are they just their whole new thing to you?
That's interesting. Yeah, there are things, and I think the depth is probably the thing that gets me the most. Nate Schutz calling out Drake Thomas as a Fox 2 heat-seeking missile.
Dude, that was so good.
Drake Thomas has been so good. And it's like they've brought in guys that end up making plays. And Ty Okada having some big hits in this game. And so you're talking about dudes who have gotten the opportunity because of injuries to make a real difference on the defense, and they have. And so I don't think that we saw that as much in 2013. It's just that we saw that depth of rotation. And I mean, you see it even at corner with Joe being out, and Woolen comes in, and he steps up his game to with the pass breakups that we saw. And I also wanted to call out Chris Smokehawk Nelson for 5 gifted Seahawkers podcast memberships out on YouTube. So
awesome.
Thanks to Smokehawk.
Hey, Smoke, thank you so much. Yeah, the depth piece is really, I love, it's a huge thing in the NFL because the NFL is longer than it appears, right? Season-wise, and injuries, man. I mean, injuries, this is what happens in the NFL. Like, we just lost Jaron Reed yesterday. And you could go through this entire game and be like, we didn't miss Jaron Reed one iota. That is nothing to take away from Jaron Reed. Because in other games in December, if a team that actually could run the ball, let's say when we're playing Indianapolis, right? Playing Indianapolis in December, I think a lot of us probably saw what Jonathan Taylor did again today, which is they could run the ball. Or if we end up playing like a team like the Patriots that are coming along, they just smacked the Bucs by running the football. Then the Jaron Reed injury, if he's still out, you might really feel it. Right. But a game like this, depth-wise, you didn't feel it one bit between scheme, dude stepping up, pure talent. It was like, okay, we did not need Jaron Reed to win this game going away. And it be like defense-led because of the plays from Knight and Lawrence that we already covered.
Yeah, we'll just get up by 28 points early on and take the run game away. It's easy.
It's so
you
easy.
don't have to worry about Jaron Reed at all.
I like that.
Our Seahawks, they ran the football effectively today.
Yes.
Both Zach Charbonnet and Ken Walker carried it for 14 times apiece, 83 yards for Charbonnet with a long of 30. Ken Walker had a long of 24. And so both those guys. Plus, you had George Holani mixed in as well too. I think we would have seen him more, but it looked like maybe he had a neck issue or maybe a concussion issue on his final carry.
Yeah, he got
Charbonnet ended up closing out the game for the Seahawks. But Holani, 31 yards on 7 carries. He also had that nice 9-yard touchdown, which seemingly came out of nowhere because he's running into the end zone and you're going, wait a second. That's not Charbonnet.
It's not Charbonnet. It's not K9. My pets' heads are falling off. My Blue Friday bets are busting. The one, if I do have a gripe with this, with Clint Kubiak and the Seahawks, is I still don't understand why K9's not allowed to touch a football within the 5-yard line or within the 10. He's good. He's very good. He does things. He gets around the edges. He's gets our big explosives, and he's good and stuff. And they march right down there, and it's a nice balanced drive. And George Holani's in. It's like, but you can't be mad when George Holani makes an amazing juke play and takes it to the pylon and scores. And he's like, okay, again, you said the magic word depth earlier. There's depth in the running back room too. And we saw Shaheed not just like get an end around with the cutesy kind of like Mike McDaniel style thing. By the way, I was very happy that we didn't see Sam like flip it behind his back like Tua. It was, he just pitched it, right? It wasn't too cute, which worked. But then we saw Shaheed just 7 yards deep, just getting a student body left. That, by the way, also worked. So interesting.
Yep. It was interesting to see the way that they got Shaheed involved through the run game. He was definitely involved through special teams. He only had 1 catch for 3 yards in the passing game, but you called out his 2 rushing carries, 2 carries, 20 yards. Yeah, they were ahead on the day, over 200 yards, but then you had Drew Lock come in and take some kneel downs, and it pushed us back under the 200 mark.
Oh, that's so stupid. I'm going to just ignore that. 200 plus for the rushing yards. Like, come on, it's 2025. Can't we just like understand that if you're taking kneel downs, they don't count against you for running? That's just, it's so dumb.
Why do you care about this magic number of 200 all of a sudden?
Yeah, because I love magic numbers. Always.
We've got Lisa Carlson coming in and saying, if we win next week, I'm going to legitimately be hyped. And that's the big question, right? With the LA Rams on the horizon, Clinton.
Yeah.
Can this team take control of the NFC West and beat these stupid Rams coming up this next weekend?
Yeah, sure. And it's not a flippant sure. It's the Rams are good, but so are we. This is we're really good. We're better than they are on defense. We just are. And if you want to say, okay, Stafford, I know people are going gaga for Stafford for MVP, and that's fine. And also not true. Like right now, if things ended right now, it'd be Stafford. That's fine. With all that, cool. Let's see what he does against the best defense he's going to face all year next week. And like you mentioned earlier, if we could keep bringing the kind of heat that we're bringing, like Brissett was running for his life. The very first play, Murphy is in the backfield in a half a second. The next play, I think it was Emmanwori, something like that. Like he was just getting torched. And, Rams O-line it's better than the Cardinals, but it's fine. So long-winded way of saying, yes, of course we could beat the Rams. They're good, but they're not unbeatable. They're not ungettable. It's going to be a great game. The very, very fun part though, I think, is that the NFL woke up to Seattle last week with the primetime game against the Commanders, and now we did it again, and the Rams are the Rams who are in LA anyway. So I think the entire NFL is going to be just
focused
as focused
on this game coming up.
Oh my gosh. Like when we had Bills KC last week, that was the focus, right? It's going to be Rams Seahawks, and it's the first time in a number of years where this kind of marquee game stars our guys. That's got me goosed.
Oh, and a win next week would be glorious. Let me ask you another question, though,
yes,
Clinton.
Okay, sure.
What's better than 2 executive producers on a post-game show?
17 executive producers.
That would be even better, but let's go to 3 because Ryan 911's coming in with a $9.99 super chat saying "Go Hawks."
Amazing, he's the best. Ryan, also coach in the Discord. I mentioned Discord earlier too, and I hope folks that are watching out there, you go to getintheflock.com, become a member of our Discord. It's a ton of fun. But I want to say congrats, and I mean that in like kind of the best fun way. I guess it's not a bad way to say congrats, but there was a lot of flockers who were at the game today. and they were posting in the Discord, and with their different, Amy was there, Lisa was there, so a few others say, hey, made a last minute decision, decided to go to the game. How cool. I mean, beautiful day. You're starting to get that it's crisp air again, of course, in the PNW, but it's not raining. You get a sunshiny day, and you get to watch us just go put up 40 something points versus again, rivals team. So just I'm so happy that we got all these flockers in the Discord that were there live today. What a day. What a day.
Well, one of those flockers who was there live was Amy Holmes,
Yes.
and she's saying, the stadium was so relaxed, we started doing the wave.
I love it. I kind of like the wave as a fan of humans doing things together, and I know it's also got its origins in the Kingdom in Seattle, and so I take a lot of I love the wave. I love the fact that it could be that relaxed.
Since you brought up the wave, have you ever personally started a wave?
I have.
Excellent.
I have, and it was at a minor league baseball game when I was president of our little league. We went out to the Hartford Yard Goats, which was fantastic. Really, really great. It's called Dunkin' Donuts Park out in Hartford. Amazing. If you're a ball fan, ball game, what's that called? Baseball. If you're a baseball fan, you like parks and you like doing minor league parks, Hartford Yard Goats, awesome stadium. And so we had our whole league there for our league day. And I started the wave, and it was great. The entire stadium did it, and people were pumped. So yes, I have.
I also have a wave starting story
did?
in the Kingdom in Seattle during
amazing.
a baseball game. So yeah, in my younger days.
Did we do coast to coast waves? It just took that long for it to happen.
How are we just now realizing this?
The thing is, somebody's doing a wave right now from our waves back then. Man, holy.
Oh man, it's incredible. We're doing the waves. Our blockers in the chat are doing a wave. They're hopefully liking this show. A big thanks to everybody who tuned in this evening. Shoot, Clinton is just now cracking a beer. I don't know how you waited this long to do it.
Well, I had something else on the side. Don't worry. I got this also.
Nate Shute saying, did we just become best friends?
Yep.
We've been best friends for a long time.
Yes. Oh, that's great.
Our Seahawks, they get the win, 44-22.
Lisa, that's the amazing, Lisa.
And Clinton and I are doing the wave across America.
All right, I think with that,
There's only one thing left to say.
go Hawks.
Go Hawks.